What's up, guys? Hey Productions here, back with another video. Today, we are going to be predicting the top 10 NFL running backs for next year, pretty much predicting the yardage, as well as the honorable mentions. Four guys who I also think will have really good seasons, but will not make it into the top 10. So, coincidentally, the first two guys that I'm going to be putting in the honorable mentions will be teammates. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I think both of them are really good. I think both of them have unique play styles with, that kind of, are different from each other, but, work really well to form, in my opinion, one of the best running back duos in the entire NFL. You have Najee Harris, more of a power back. He's pretty much a wrecking ball, I would say. They have Jalen Warren, who's super shifty, super fast, can kind of hit the corner, pretty much run past anybody. And I think their, play styles complement, their each other's play styles really well. I don't see him having amazing seasons. I could see Najee Harris getting back to 1,000 because Najee Harris has three straight 1,000-yard seasons. But I don't know. I see him splitting carries this year. I see Jalen Warren honestly getting more touches, and I also see the passing game in Pittsburgh becoming I guess more used, you could say. With obviously Russell Wilson going there. So yeah, I see both of them getting decent yardage, getting decent seasons, but I do not see him going into the top 10. Next up, we have Tyjae Spears, and this guy is also really good. He had to sit behind, obviously, Derrick Henry last year, but he's super electric, super fast. In the combine, he ran a 4.5 440. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read something where I think he tore his ACL or something. Either way, he's super fast, he's super electric. Some Titans fans are comparing him to, Alvin Kamara, who's on the Saints, and I think he'll have a great season, but not enough, to go into the top 10. Now you have Rico Dowdle also. I'm going to put him in the honorable mentions. He's kind of unknown right now. He's kind of like, he's he's backing up, you could say, Ezekiel Elliott on the depth chart, for the Cowboys. But I see him mostly taking, the carries as, the number one back next season, with, Ezekiel Elliott now being more of a number two kind of goal line back. This dude's fast. This dude's electric. I seen him play, one time on Thanksgiving, and he was honestly really fast. I had no idea who he was, but I did some research. I think, honestly, he's most likely going to be the one who's going to start the season for them. Being that number one guy, being kind of like that Tony Pollard, last season, or obviously Ezekiel Elliott the years before, before he kind of, slowed down. So yeah, I expect him to have a really good year, and I don't expect him to take that leap into the top 10 yet, but I think he'll definitely shock some people this year. So yeah, I got Rico Dowdle closing out the honorable mention. Now at number 10, I have Isaiah Pacheco. I think he's really good, but I don't see him taking that top 5 leap that, maybe some people are predicting. I think he's good. I just don't know if he can take that leap yet into the top 5. With the Chiefs getting more receivers on offense, obviously like Marquise Brown, Rashee Rice is coming back for his second season, and Xavier Worthy. I just don't think he's going to be used as much as people are saying, but I still expect him to have a bigger role in the offense this year and get into the top 10s of yardage, because last season he was only 18th. I expect him this year to take a larger jump and get into the top 10. At number 9, I have James Conner. I think he's going to take a step back kind of in yardage. He was 6th last year in rushing. I expect him to go to 9th. With obviously, I think Trey McBride, like I predicted in my tight end video, to have a bigger role in the offense, as long as Marvin Harrison Jr. joining. I expect him to go, a little bit more into the passing game. But I think James Conner is always a lock to be in top 10 in yardage, and maybe even top 10 in touchdowns. Either way, I expect him to have a really good season again, which is why I predict him to go number 9. Now at number 8, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. I want to put him in the top 5 or top 6. I just can't do it, because most likely, again, he's going to be splitting carries with David Montgomery, and he's going to be used more as a receiving back more than David Montgomery. So I expect him to still go, top 10. I just don't expect him to take that top 5 jump that maybe some people are saying. I still think he'll, someday get there. But for right now, with David Montgomery still on the team, I expect him to stay at number 8. He was right outside the top 10 last year. He was 17th, but he had 945 yards on 182 carries. That's honestly really good, I would say, because the next guy in front of him was Saquon Barkley with 247 carries and 962 yards. So he gets more carries. I just do not see him going into the top 5 or top 7 yet. Now at number 7, I have Devon Achane. I think he's going to take that star leap this year. He had such a good season last year, and he only played like 11 games. He had 800 yards in 11 games, 7.8 yards a carry. That's ridiculous. Obviously still Raheem Mostert. I think this guy plays a full season. He stays healthy the entire time. He will definitely be top 10 in rushing yards. So yeah, I got to go with, Devon Achane to be in the top 7. Now at number 6, I have Saquon Barkley. I believe he'll have another amazing season. I think he's, again, definitely a top 10 back in the league. But, I thought he was that before going, to the Eagles. Now he's on the Eagles, one of the better O-lines in the league. Obviously losing Jason Kelce might hurt a little bit, but I still expect him to be a top 6, running back. They turned DeAndre Swift into a top 5 5 running back in terms of yardage. I think they can do the exact same with Saquon, but I do expect them to kind of use the passing game a little bit more than to use the rushing game this year, maybe. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But I still see Saquon having a really successful season, just not getting into the top 5. Now at number 5, I have to go with Bijan Robinson. I think he's gonna take that leap this year. I think he's gonna, go into, the top 5 running back conversations. He's genuinely one of the most electric running backs in the league, already. He finished 15th last year. He had 976 yards. This year, I think he's not gonna be, kind of not necessarily splitting carries with Tyler Algier, but he's going to be used a lot more, and I definitely expect him to take that top 5 lead. Now we are down to the top 4, and at number 4, I have Kyren Williams. I think he's, again, really electric. He's super fast. He only played 12 games last year. He had 1,144 yards. That was ahead of, DeAndre Swift, James Cook, Najee Harris, James Conner, all those guys. I expect him to have another really good year, but I do expect him, I guess, to take, drop, one step back or drop one, spot down to the number 4. At number 3, I have James Cook. I think he's one of the shiftiest running backs in the NFL. I think he's one of the most electric running backs in the NFL. He could, kind of clean up his fumbling troubles, I would say. He does fumble the ball a lot, but at the same time, again, one of the most electric guys in the NFL. He should definitely get in top 3. You're going to hear the phrase, let James Cook a lot, by Buffalo Bills fans, and maybe even on this channel a lot during the season, just because he was used a ton at, near the end of last year, and, he wasn't really used that much, in, the first, 10 games, I would say. As soon as, Joe Brady became the coordinator, he was getting the ball, pretty much, 20 times a game, I would say. Probably even more. So I see him taking, again, an even bigger star leap and be, kind of cementing himself as a top 5 guy and maybe even a top 3 guy. Now, it might seem anticlimactic, but at 1 and 2, I have Derrick Henry going, second. I see Christian McCaffrey, ending up in, the first spot. Christian McCaffrey is just so good. Like, he is, easily the best running back in the NFL. But Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the NFL, going to, I think, in my opinion, the best running team in the NFL. That's going to be Denley. But I see both guys reaching 2,000 yards. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if both of these guys reach 2,000 yards. They're both amazing. Christian McCaffrey just received a new deal, much deserved. And again, Derrick Henry, he's going to be, playing on a team that mainly, in my opinion, likes to run the ball, at least from what I see. They like to run the ball, and they're really good at running the ball. So yeah, I see both those guys having really good seasons. I could see both of them easily getting, 1,500 yards, and above. Again, I could honestly see both of them reaching 2,000 yards. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that happen. That is going to be it for this NFL running back predictions, just, I guess, predicting the top 10 running backs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for another Hair Productions video.